I bet you thought this movie was boring. I went into this thinking it was going to be cops and robbers, but what I ended up finding was a slow motion elegy to the end of the American myth. This isn't Johnny Depp doing Al Capone cosplay. This is Michael Mann's quiet tragedy. It's day 62 of 365. Today's movie, Public Enemies. This one's directed by one of the best to ever do it, Michael Mann, and stars Johnny Depp, Christian Bale, and Marion Cotillard. If you skip this one, I get it. Johnny Depp has other gangster movies that were probably more worth checking out, but I'm a big Michael Mann fan, and this is the only time he ends up on the ticket stub list, so I wanted to use this as an opportunity to go through some of his movies, and specifically this one, which was a big inspiration behind me becoming a film critic. He's got too many dubs in his pocket to skip, and I want to take a look at maybe some of his other movies and how he styled them to get an idea for what he was doing here, even though it wasn't as well received. Collateral, Heat, Miami Vice, these are some of his amazing crime epics, and you can see the way that they set the tone for what this movie will end up being. American crime across history is something that you can see is on Mann's mind. His first movie, Thief, his big movie that went to the Oscars, Last of the Mohicans, and even his turn with Hannibal Lecter with Manhunter. Yeah, that's right, he did Hannibal Lecter before Anthony Hopkins ever put on someone else's face. Across the years, you can see his style develop. Moody lighting, a concentration on criminals and their lifestyles. His push into realism and casting a light on the seedy underbelly of America is something that he has been bringing to light across his entire career. However, he doesn't worship crime, and I think that's what adds so much humanity to his movies where he's talking about criminals. Public Enemies is no exception. This could have been a Robin Hood style story, but instead he decides to concentrate on the hardened criminal aspects as well as giving them space to be deeply human. This movie does still have its issues. The little Bohemia shootout scene, I think, is sorely underlit. I know he's aiming for realism, but it's maybe a little too realistic in that it's nighttime and I can't fucking see anything. I also recall having an issue with the digital filmmaking at the time. This is part of my inception as a film critic. When I was a teenager walking into a movie and not enjoying an aspect of the film that I could actually articulate and put my finger on, helped me feel that I had my own opinions to bring out about movies. Now, as I've aged, I've actually changed my opinion on this, but we'll get into that in the next section where we talk about my 3 favorite things about Public Enemies. My first favorite thing is the wooden gun escape scene. Michael Mann is not making a breakout movie. He's not making a heist movie. He's not going to hold your hand and explain things to you. This is a simpler time where you just need to get on board with things as they happen. Apparently, in real life, John Dillinger actually took 17 people hostage with his wooden gun. A not exceptional story because Sergeant York in World War I believe, would have done exactly the same thing, taking almost 100 enemy soldiers captive by himself. So this is something that was actually happening at the time and maybe even inspired Dillinger to make this move. They even toned it down for the movie to make it more believable and more realistic. But the way the scene plays out as is, I really enjoy. This is something that is just so cool to see play out quickly in real time. We're catching up with the guards as they're understanding what's happening. It's such a cool way for this to play out. Another thing I love here are the reminders of a bygone era. People listen to radio in their homes instead of watching TV, and TV is watched in movie theaters where you see them watching the news, seeing updates from the world around them, watching cartoons and things like that before they even get to their feature film. This used to be the norm. We used to enjoy our entertainment together as a community instead of individually in our own houses. I think that's a really unique thing to bring up in a movie that isn't exactly going into the community aspects, but still showing them as the backdrop of why it was so easy for these guys to get away with these crimes for so long at the time. It's almost something I wish we had now. Just podcasts for us to listen to at home. And then if you want to watch an episode of Squid Game, you have to go to the theater to see that along with a movie, a cartoon, and the news. Then you'd be discussing it with your community in real time, seeing other people's reactions to the news instead of only making decisions on your own in the comfort of your own home. My third and final favorite thing is my change since my last criticism as an 18-year-old. So at the time, as I mentioned, I was not a fan of the digital now I've moved away from that. I have a much broader love for the different aspects of filmmaking that we use. And specifically, Mann's use of digital filmmaking allowed him to get so much more up close and personal in 2009. Remember, this is the guy that did the shootout in Heat. So he's no stranger to these really, really realistic fights and shootouts. That's what he's aiming for here, and now he has even more of an edge since the 90s. The choice to go digital works also with reenactment. Something that I enjoyed as a kid was going to see live action performances at a local cowboy roundup where they would do lasso shows and shootouts with blanks and these staged action performances. That's what these sequences feel like in this movie. And that is a twofold thing of giving us more realism and giving us what is essentially mob reenactments. If we do it for the Confederacy and the Civil War, why not do this for the mob? A really fun way to show us exactly what this would have been like at the time instead of stylizing it, instead of making it cinematic, is to let it play out reenactment style, like a stage play. This is a really important aspect of filmmaking when you're someone like Michael Mann trying to make ultra realistic things still set in Hollywood. Also, a bonus thing that I love is the suit colors changing across the movie as the characters go from gray into fulfilling their archetypes. We see Christian Bale in a white suit by the end of the movie, and we see Dillinger has actually stripped off his suit, removed himself from society through his choices to become a criminal. Oh my God, when your costuming is that good, you're going to please me every time. And that's something that I didn't even know to catch when I saw this at 18. So seeing it recently, I was all the more in love with this movie for it. We are going from scary real to just plain scary with our next movie as The Orphan. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.